Dimitri here, founder of Just Reach Out. Welcome. And today I want to give you a little bit of an overview on how to pick the right keywords to find the most relevant journalists to pitch and get coverage. This is one of the most crucial things that people miss. They type in something into a search tool or search engine and they get results that don't really speak to their pitch. So let's look at press opportunities, the first example. And let's say, for the purpose of just an example, I have a company that sells nut butters, right? So it's an e-commerce store that just sells all sorts of different health products, but as well as that, we have nut butters, different types of nut butters. Now, one of the first things people might do is they might say, all right, I want to figure out who is asking about nut butters, which journalists want to cover my product. And that's not the best way to go about press opportunities. What I would do is I'll type in health in here. Health is a much more general topic that can sort of engulf a lot of different sort of topics that my team and myself can comment. Perhaps it might come up with some other things as well. But what I'm doing is I'm doing the research to figure out what journalists are actually asking about. I'm not pinpointing to like, hey, who is only asking about my stuff? I'm using generic terms such as health to look at, what are people overall asking about, looking for tips and advice for health experts on how students should deal with COVID anxiety, looking to speak to nail experts, interviews with a doctor. So if I can comment on some of these, great. I might say well-being will be another one that I might sort of look at. And these terms are things that you will be putting in here to do some research, to try and figure out what it is that people are asking about. And one little tip that I want to show you, I just added an expired only filter to this search. And I'm doing well-being, and I'm looking at recently expired queries. And the recently expired queries are sort of pure gold that most people forget about, right? If a query has expired, that means that this person actually had a question, and they didn't get it answered, or they did get it answered, but you know their email address, you know their name, and you know their organization, their publication, and you know something about what they were interested about very recently. This is gold mine for you. So now, as as a person kind of seeing this, I might say, well, heck, I sell nut butters, but this is actually an interesting topic, and he's already asked about it. He might have already covered it, but I can pitch him an idea that's related to this, but not quite what he asked, right? And so what I typically like to do is I like to, I like to look at something that has expired on press opportunities, and literally start chatting with these folks about things that they recently asked about that's a little bit different. So I don't want to, August 11th, Chrissy here from Eating Well asked about best healthy foods to buy at Walmart, right? If I'm selling nut butters on e-commerce store, it's not quite at Walmart, but it's related to what this woman was talking about, and she's from Eating Well. I have her personal email, and I have her name, and I know what she wanted about a month ago. Chances are she'd be interested in what I'm saying. So use broad terms, number one, and number two, use the expired only filter to improve upon sort of doing your research to see what people are asking about. In terms of journalist search, this is where you want to get very specific around your terms. So health food is too broad of a topic. So in here, use the auto suggest. Our auto suggest helps you figure out which topics people are covering a lot. But you can see that I'm typing in best nut butter. It says best nut butters for you, best buttermilk banana nut butter, best Brazil nut butter. So, you might nut butter is best for babies. You know, you might get very specific like this. And the idea here is a little bit different from what press opportunities is. Here it's, hey, they covered nut butters for babies, but they didn't cover nut butters for X, keto. They didn't, for paleo. They didn't cover it for something else. And you have that data, you have that insight, and now you can go and chat with 15 foods that pair well with peanut butter, and you can pitch them your idea of, hey, I have a study on, best ways to increase whatever it is, keto, paleo, whatever that insight, that data that you have to pitch them. So in here, I'd say go much more specific on the term. Here in press opportunities, go much more broader on the term, right? It's a sort of a process. As you start searching more and more, you'll see what journalists are asking about, and you can asking about press opportunities or covering journalists, so you can figure out which terms to put in here. I would experiment continuously, keep changing the terms to see what comes up as results, and which other suggests come up here, right? So, and of course, reach out if you have any questions. All right, hopefully this was helpful, and I'll see you on the other side.